Grammar is one of those fun topics that people either absolutely love or absolutely hate. Grammar is the set of rules that holds our language together, and as with any set of rules, there has sprung up a variety of interpretations as to what is right or wrong, and if there even is such a thing as right or wrong when it comes to how we use language. Even if you don't think that you're especially interested in grammar, chances are you have some opinion on whether irregardless is a word, the use of they as a singular pronoun, or the almighty Oxford comma. All that to say, grammar is complicated. Writing is complicated. Language is complicated. And if humans are good at anything, it's taking complicated problems and creating equally complicated tools to solve them. One tool that we have created to help our complicated language problem is Grammarly, which is the subject of this video and of many, many, many YouTube ads. While it started as a simple spelling and grammar checking tool, Grammarly has become a one-stop shop for helping you polish your writing. They purport to fix grammar mistakes, make your writing more clear, and even help you change the tone of your writing. And honestly, this sounds great. As a writing teacher, I would love to see more people write more better. But can Grammarly actually deliver on this? Can it make our writing better? And if it can, does having better writing actually mean that we are better writers? And even if it does, is it a good thing to have an external AI-controlled tool that tells us what's right and wrong? Well, let's find out. The promises of Grammarly are pretty hefty. They promise to make your writing polished and error-free, to ensure all of your punctuation marks are used correctly, and to make sure that you end up with flawless text that will impress your readers. They even say that with their tool, you will build your writing skills as you fix your mistakes. And the thing is, these promises aren't kept. And to be fair, this isn't Grammarly's fault, because keeping these promises isn't really even possible. See, there's this thing called rhetorical grammar, which, put simply, is when the purpose, audience, and content of your writing change how you use grammar in that writing. Now, I know that this sounds boring as hell, but it's actually really interesting. Consider these two sentences. I ate the cake, and the cake was eaten. The same thing happens in each sentence, but by phrasing things differently, you get something different out of it. In the first one, I am doing something. I am the actor. I have had some kind of effect on the world around me. In the second one, something happens, but there isn't really a driving force behind it. Sure, the cake was eaten, but no blame can be placed on any party. Now, this seems pretty harmless, right? Well, let's look at another example. An unarmed suspect was killed in an officer-involved shooting, and a police officer shot and killed an unarmed suspect. Just like with the previous example, one sentence gives blame and the other one doesn't. In one case, you could even blame the victim for being shot. They are the only actor in that sentence, after all. All of this is to say that while two sentences can be grammatically correct and technically equivalent, we get a different meaning from them depending on which construction we use. Grammarly doesn't really take this into account. I mean, it can't. In fact, it defaults to always preferring the active voice sentence, that is, the sentence where there is an actor who does an action. Grammarly will always say that the passive voice sentence, the cake was eaten, is incorrect and should be changed. But passive voice isn't wrong. It's a perfectly fine and valid stylistic choice. It shouldn't be relied on, and it's easy to overuse, but it is not wrong. In fact, many of the things that Grammarly marks as incorrect just aren't. They are stylistic choices that can fundamentally change the the meaning of a sentence. One concept that Grammarly commonly inappropriately flags is wordiness. Here are some examples from my own writing where the suggestions were just not good. Verb tenses are not perfectly equal. Saying instructors are facing lower levels of engagement does not mean the exact same thing as instructors face lower levels of engagement. The former implies that this is an ongoing problem. It is dynamic. The latter is static. It just is. My point with this sentence was to show that lower levels of engagement can be changed, which is why I went with the dynamic wording. Another thing Grammarly likes to point out is synonyms. They absolutely love telling you that a particular word is overused and that you should change it. But there is no such thing as a perfect synonym. Connotation, the little tonal differences between synonyms, is important, and Grammarly just kind of ignores that. Like here, where they want me to change academic to literary. Yeah, in some contexts, these words can be interchangeable, but not this one, Grammarly. No. Even with some of the simpler things, like spelling, Grammarly isn't perfect. Here, I was talking about the composing process. Composing, like writing. And they wanted me to change it to composting. Like, shit. Now, all of these examples are indicative of a bigger problem with Grammarly. See, I am an English professor and a professional writer. I do writing and teach people how to write for a living. I'm not infallible, but I know my stuff. And I am able to tell where Grammarly is wrong. I know the difference between their good advice and their bad advice. And they do offer some good advice. There are some grammar issues that they found in my writing that I missed. There were some tonal and stylistic changes that they suggested that I would implement. But they also offered bad advice. A lot of bad advice. And not just, no, that suggestion isn't quite the tone that I'm going for, but stuff that was straight up wrong. For most people, especially Grammarly's main consumer base of college students and working professionals who lack confidence in their writing, they don't know how to tell when advice is good or bad. They trust the program to tell them what is right and wrong. But they shouldn't, because Grammarly is far from perfect. Not only is Grammarly's advice sometimes just wrong, but it also illuminates a larger issue here. Even if all of its suggestions were correct, would that actually make us better writers? Well, no, not really. Like, imagine that you were given the problem 11 minus 2, and you got 9 because if you add the letters in both numbers together, you get 9. You happen to get the right answer, but you don't actually know the math. If you stumble into the correct answer with no idea how you got there, you don't actually know the answer. You can't replicate it, you haven't actually learned anything. The same thing is happening with Grammarly. You trust the program to tell you what is correct or incorrect, and so when it points out errors and gives suggestions, you accept it at face value. And then, when you get your paper back with a good grade, you assume that everything was correct, but you never actually learned why your grammar mistakes were mistakes, or why the corrections were correct. The thing about learning grammar is that it's actually really counterproductive to just have our errors pointed out to us. This is something that Grammarly actually does a little bit better than most teachers, though. Teachers often just circle or underline something that is incorrect, but Grammarly also gives you an explanation for why something is wrong. This is a good thing. What is not good, though, is their claim that this can help you learn grammatical concepts. It can't. Maybe if you spend a lot of time reading through every comment and considering things with depth and curiosity, but Grammarly is marketed toward people who are busy and don't have the time to relearn things on their own. So their customer base is not super likely to actually sit down and slowly and meticulously sift through every single comment in order to gain a deeper understanding of, comma splices. Now, I know that some of you might be thinking, well, if your writing is good and correct, isn't that all that matters? And to that, I say, it's complicated. Producing a good text isn't the only thing that makes you a good writer. First of all, good is complex and dependent on context, and second of all, being a writer isn't just about the stuff you write. It's about you and your skill and your knowledge and your thought process and your passion. You, as a writer, are more than just the stuff you write. By far, my biggest issue with Grammarly, though, is the fact that it even exists. Its existence is predicated on the assumption that there are right and wrong answers to language questions. But very often, there aren't. Language is fluid, things change, and grammar is squishy. Who even decides which things are mistakes to begin with? Seriously, what authority is there? If language is a communication device, then as long as you can communicate successfully, why should there be any other metrics of correctness? What is correct in one context could be completely wrong in another. Why is Grammarly the authority on what is right or wrong in a given context? And what kind of assumptions about language is Grammarly making? There are countless varieties of English. Whose variety is the correct one? If I wrote in my home version of English, if I were writing an email to a friend who is also fluent in my dialect, and then this program, a program designed to be correct, told me that I was wrong, that could really screw a person up. There is historical evidence for the real, genuine harm that it can do to a person to be told that their home dialect is wrong or broken. It hurts people. It hinders their learning. It changes how they are seen by society. Language is complex, and Grammarly ignores that complexity when they focus on right and wrong. One of the most important things about language is how it evolves, and that kind of evolution is a necessary thing. Without change and growth and, yes, the shedding of useless and outdated grammar rules, a language becomes lifeless. And if there is an AI tool that is trying to determine how our language evolves or stays stagnant, then maybe we should shed it too. After all, we are the humans who actually speak and write with the English language. Shouldn't we be the ones who get to decide its fate? I don't hate Grammarly. In fact, I kind of like it. If you are already familiar with grammar rules and are comfortable and confident in your writing, but you just want something that can help you with polishing your writing, Grammarly is the perfect tool for you. If you can tell the difference between good advice and bad advice, Grammarly is great. What Grammarly is not great at is helping people who struggle with grammar or spelling or tone, people who are not experts in English and who can't tell the difference between good advice and bad advice. For these people, Grammarly just gives them a false and unfounded sense of confidence in their writing. Yes, Grammarly can help, but it can also make these things worse. And even worse, it can prevent you from actually learning about language at all. In short, it does all the hard work for you, doesn't even do it accurately, and convinces you that you couldn't be a good writer without it, all while it takes your money if you're using the premium version. Unless you are already an expert, Grammarly does you more harm than good. So, take my free advice instead. Grammar rules are often arbitrary, our language is constantly evolving, and programs that focus on correctness are full of shit. You can be a good writer. Chances are you already are a good writer, and it's just bad teachers and internet buffoons and prescriptivist programs that have convinced you that you're not. Language is supposed to be fun. Go have fun with it. Thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. Be sure to let me know what you think, if you use Grammarly, if you like it, if you hate it, all that kinds of stuff in the comments below. Thank you all for all of your support and feedback. It is really super helpful and uplifting, so thank you, thank you, thank you. Also, be sure to like and subscribe and ring the bell and do all of the YouTube things. It really does help me out. If you want more of me, you can go follow me on Twitter at Zoe_the_Bee. And if you want to help me pay my bills, you can come join us on Patreon, where membership starts at $2 a month. You can get lots of fun and cool things like polls and seeing videos early and getting custom written poems by me, a real published poet. So if that sounds like something that you would be interested in, you can check that out in the description. Anyway, thank you again for watching, and until next time, stay safe, stay warm, and I will see y'all again soon, I hope. Bye, guys.